Last year, I reviewed the sci-fi action-packed horror flick known as Predator. Now let's talk about its sequel, Predator 2, which really got this big time at first, but now has become a cult favorite to a lot of people out there, I do believe. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1990 sci-fi action flick Predator 2, released by Fox and written by brothers Jim and John Thomas, directed by Stephen Hopkins, starring Danny Glover along with Gary Busey, Ruben Blades, Maria Conchita Alonso, Bill Paxton, and Kevin Pierre Hall. The second installment of the Predator franchise and sequel to the 1987 film, with Kevin Pierre Hall reprising the title role of the Predator. This is set 10 years after the events of the first film set in LA, and focuses on a disgruntled police officer and his allies battling a malevolent and technologically advanced extraterrestrial predator. This film got dissed and what have you when it was released in November of 1990. How and well, it made just kind of close to half of what its predecessor made worldwide, but it has become a cult classic though. Before I get started, if you haven't seen my review of the first Predator, click on that little card there, and I'll take you to the Predator review from 1987, which, in case you might have missed it, or if you want to see it again if you'd like. Okay, that'll do it. Okay, on with the story. In 1997, LA is suffering from a heat wave and a turf war between heavily armed Colombian and Jamaican drug cartels. A predator watches a shootout between the police, Jamaicans and Colombians, observing as Lieutenant Michael R. Harrigan charges into the firefight to rescue two wounded officers and drive the Colombians back into their hideout. The predator assaults the Colombians, causing a disturbance that prompts Harrigan and detectives Leona Cantrell and Danny Archuleta to defy orders and enter the hideout, where they find the slaughtered Colombians. On the roof, Harrigan shoots the crazed gang leader and catches a glimpse of the camouflaged predator, but dismisses it as a consequence of the extreme heat and his acrophobia. At the station, Harrigan is reprimanded by his superiors for his disobedience and introduced to Special Agent Peter Keyes, leader of a task force investigating the cartels, and Detective Jerry Lambert, the newest member of Harrigan's team. Later that evening, Jamaicans invade the Colombian drug lord's penthouse and murder him before they are murdered in turn by the predator. Upon their arrival, Harrigan's team notes the similarities between the current crime scene and the earlier Colombian massacre until Key's team arrives and removes them. Archuleta returns to conduct a solo investigation, finding one of the predator's spear tips before the creature kills him. As an enraged Harrigan vows to stop Archuleta's killer, forensic analysis reveals the spear tip is not composed of any known element on the periodic table. Seeking answers, Harrigan meets with Jamaican drug lord King Willie, a voodoo practitioner who believes the killer is supernatural and that he should prepare himself for a battle against it. Harrigan leaves before the predator kills King Willie, taking his head as a trophy. Tracing a lead indicating Archuleta's killer had recently been in a slaughterhouse. Harrigan arranges to meet his team at the warehouse district to investigate. Cantrell and Lambert take the subway there, but are ambushed by the predator, who kills Lambert and numerous armed passengers, but spares Cantrell after its helmet scanners indicate that she is pregnant. Arriving in time to see it claim Lambert's head, Harrigan chases the fleeing predator, but is intercepted by Key's men. Keyes reveals that the monster is an extraterrestrial hunter with infrared vision and active camouflage that has been hunting humans for sport throughout several armed conflicts, most recently 1 decade prior in Central America. Keyes and his team have set a trap in a nearby slaughterhouse, using thermally insulated suits with mounted ultraviolet lights and cryogenic weapons to capture it for study. Upon arrival, the suspicious predator uses its scanners to track, outmaneuver, and slaughter Keyes' men via their lights. Now for the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video, go to the description box below, and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Harrigan attacks and wounds the predator, but it destroys his weapon. It nearly kills him before Keyes tries to freeze the creature, only to be bisected by the predator's smart disc. The predator chases Harrigan to the roof, where they clash until they are left hanging from a ledge. The creature activates a self-destruct device on its forearm, which Harrigan severs with the disc, disarming it. The predator falls into an apartment where it treats its wounds and flees. Harrigan pursues it to a spacecraft hidden underground and eventually kills the predator with its disc. A group of predators emerge to collect their dead comrade and give Harrigan an antique flintlock pistol as a trophy. As the ship takes off, Harrigan escapes to the surface and meets with the remainder of Key's team. As Key's subordinate Garber curses their lost opportunity to capture the creature, Harrigan privately muses that the beings will return in the story. Okay. So what did I think of Predator 2? Well, I've only seen it a few times. I do think it's a pretty good sequel in ways. Well, even though it did alright and what have you, it became the lowest grossing film of the franchise. It went on to make 57 million worldwide, as it was being by four other films when it opened, which included Dances with Wolves, Screaming a Little Lady, Rocky 5, and another Fox film, Home Alone. Though despite the film's reviews were negative when it was released in 1990, reviewers were, however, impressed by the cast of Danny Glover as an action hero. Well, the film serves at a mere 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. They say the thrill of the hunt is gone in this hackneyed sequel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but the Washington Post was split on their reviews. One said the dismal irony of RoboCop and the brewing fatalism of Blade Runner what this film had, and that Glover brings an unusual depth to the action adventure and proves fiercely effective as the Predator's new nemesis. Another review for the Washington Post says the film was blithely unoriginal and numbingly violent, but however praised Glover's performance. Anyway, several retrospective reviews have considered it to be an underrated film, and it has gained a cult following. Later on, director Stephen Hopkins, who a year before this had done Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, said, "It's so over the top, it just sort of went for it and made the biggest, boldest, loudest movie I could make. I was only 29 years old. I was like a rampant child running around LA, blowing the shit out of everything and making things as bloody as possible." About the modest reception at the box office and the cult status since its release, it had a big initial opening weekend, if I remember correctly. But I think many people were disappointed that Arnold wasn't in it. Yeah, that's true. Schwarzenegger did not return. That was a bit of a shame. But a lot more people liked the film, and some prefer it to the original just because it's NSA and more contemporary. Even Danny Glover was proud of his performance, saying, "I have two films I've done that I feel that I was bigger than life in which I felt that I could control the space. Silverado for me and Predator 2. In that film, it was like, who's the baddest cat in your space? And the baddest cat says, I'm going to challenge you, mano a mano. I was the baddest guy in his space. What happens? I kill him. And then the others come around. And I'm like, all right, who's next? I was about 42, 43 in the best shape in my life. Best shape I've been in. Was running on the beach, had my training. I was lifting weights a lot more than I am now. I was really feeling it in that movie. Well, I'd say I agree with what he says. But anyway, Predator 2 still did alright and what have you. And it has become a cult classic, and I like it for what it had to offer. It did have some pretty good bloody bits and what have you. The score was composed by Alan Silvestri, so you gotta give that guy credit for doing a good score, and I like that. Well, after this, there would be a novelization released a couple of weeks after it was released in December, and it briefly covers the fate of Dutch from the first film and what have you, and other things. Well, I'm not going to reveal that much of that. There were also two video games. One was for computer systems, that's the year it came out, and 2 years later it got released on Sega Genesis by Acclaim Entertainment Arena Entertainment. And it also got ported to the game. It also got released on Game Gear, only in an 8-bit way, which it was similar to the port that was released on the Sega Master System internationally. Yes, you heard me correctly. There was a Sega Master System port of Predator 2, but that was released internationally, and it was much more different. The Predator 2 game for Master System and Game Gear, which we got in the US, were an auto-scrolling game, while the Genesis game, which I feel like was a little better in ways because it had a top, kind of like a top view and what have you. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, Predator 2, it's still pretty good in ways, and it has become a cult classic, as I've said numerous times. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but anyway, I feel like it's earned a place in the Predator franchise with with all that it had. Now, our cast, aside from Danny Glover playing Mike Harrigan, we have Kevin Peter Hall as the Predator. He's still pretty good. Gary Busey played Keys, and I'd say he was pretty good. Yeah, now Dutch was supposed to be in this, but Schwarzenegger declined to reprise the role. Ruben Blades plays Archuleta. Good. Maria Conchita Alonso played Cantrell. Good. Bill Paxton played Lambert. Yep, pretty good. I know it's been some time since I last saw this film, but I do know it just had some action and some blade bits and what have you. So that's sad. But anyway, with everything I've said about this film having so much some blade bits and a pretty decent, pretty good cast led by a pretty good, strong performance by Danny Glover and a good score from Alan Silvestri, and with being directed by Stephen Hopkins, I would say it's not bad. But would I recommend Predator 2? Well, I'd say maybe give it a one-time watch. If you really want to see what happens after the first film. Anyway, after this, the Predator had never been seen again until 2004's Alien vs. Predator, but the Predator didn't make a full official appearance until 20 years after this in Predators. I need to rewatch that film, and then maybe, mind you, I will review that later down the road, okay? I'd say just give it a one-time watch. You might enjoy it. You may not, but you be the judge. But anyway, what did you think of Predator 2? Let me know in the comment section below. If you liked the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of the film I was just talking about, Alien vs. Predator. So if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for these other films with the Alien. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the second Alien film, Aliens, from 1986. Or go to the upper right-hand corner and see my recent review I did a few months back in Alien Resurrection from 1997. Or if you'd like another Predator film, no problem, I did one. Go to the bottom left hand corner and see my spoiler free review of the Predator prequel known as Prey, which is streaming on Hulu, but I've heard it's coming to physical media soon. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.